Okay, so now we're live. Welcome back, everyone. And we are going to continue the Congress of EduPlat. Now, for those of you who are interested in going to the language channels, okay, now this is going to be in English. But if you're interested in going into the language channel, then I'm going to put here the so it looks like there's two people that are in the Spanish channel. They're here. Okay, so let me just copy and paste. I'll just put the link to the Spanish channel, and I don't think there is any other channel anywhere else, so that will be enough. Okay, so for those of you interested in the Spanish channel, all that you have to do is go to this address. Yeah. Okay, lo digo ahora en español, solamente para los que están. Si estáis aquí, pero lo que queréis estar es en el canal en español, basta pinchar en el enlace ese que he puesto de Skype y de ahí ya entráis. Y están otros compañeros ya listos para empezar con vosotros, ¿vale? Okay, this channel is the international channel, and the language that we're going to be using is English. And in this case, we're not going to translate. Later on, we'll come back here to this channel, and then there will be translating because we will stop the language channels. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think that will go. So in this channel, we have presenting, we have Giota, we have Margarita, we have Penelope, and we have Ernesto, although I'm not sure if I think Ernesto went to the other. Now, Marisa, you are presenting in the Spanish channel. Marisa, tienes que presentar en el canal en español. Entonces, pincha en el enlace que pone Skype. Y ahí te metes y ya te atienden mis compañeros. ¿Vale? ¿Ok, Marisa? ¿Vale? So we continue here. Now, what we're going to do is very similar to what we did this morning. In fact, this morning we could have extended for a long time because we had so many things to discuss. But obviously, we're trying to present different educational resources. Okay? So I'm going to use the same. Now, since Ernesto is not yet here, it's going to be easy to say ladies first because presenting now in this channel are all ladies. So maybe what we can do is we can change the order. I think last time, Giota, you presented and Penelope. Oh, I can't remember. So who wants to present first? Doesn't matter. Margarita is hand out. Okay, so Margarita. Now, remember the same thing. My strong advice is that you get your pieces of paper, and then eventually you can do that. Huh?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Kalispera. Hola. Buenas tardes.
And just type in here for everyone
okay.
In Spanish, just the above link is for the Spanish channel. I think Luis y Marisa, creo que los dos queríais estar en el canal en español, pero estáis aquí. Entonces, pinchar en el enlace y podéis entrar directamente en el canal español que os están esperando allí. ¿Vale? Okay, so,
disculpa, ¿el link cuál sería?
If you want, you can just present, get the microphone, get the board. Okay. And then everyone else, remember that it's good to take notes.
Okay.
I like these little notes.
I need to look for my resource.
And then eventually we can ask Margarita and the others questions. Okay? So go ahead, Margarita, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I need to find my resource. I think, yeah, I have it here. Well, first of all, thank you for letting me present in this International Congress. It's a pleasure to be here, to meet so wonderful people, and to present my little work that I do with my little students. I teach Spanish as second language or as heritage language. So the activities that I do is for little ones, and some of them they can be be presented also for adults or teenagers, and this one is the case. This one I can bring in for little ones or for young or adults. So I'm using the platform learning apps that give you so many different options of activities. In this case, I choose one that the students have to tape, because it's one of the most difficult things to do, writing. And so with this activity, they have to tape. Whatever they see in the picture, they have to tape. But in this case, we are working with the verb and the reflexive verbs. So if you see a shoe, means that you have to ponerte los zapatos. So put on the shoes. Or German is coming on the way, so my English is sometimes mixed. So the toothpaste, brush, and the students will have to write me lavo los dientes. But in this activity, they have to use the third person. So, ¿qué tienen que hacer Luisa y Pedro? What do Luisa and Pedro have to do? So, ellos tienen que ponerse los zapatos. Ellos tienen que lavarse las manos. So, I'm going to play a little bit just to show. So, here, ellos tienen que ponerse los zapatos. Here, can you guess what they have to do? Ellos tienen que ducharse. And so on and so on and so on. So at the end, they check. And of course, there's a lot of mistakes because I didn't do it. But the work, the game is like this. They have to write and automatically they will have the answers. And this is my presentation for learning apps. Only this kind of exercise. You can choose so many other types. It's a really, this platform gives you many options for little ones, teenagers, young students, adults. It's a really nice platform, and it's not that complicated to use. And once you make the exercise once, you have it forever. So it's a really good option, and it's for free. In this one, I didn't show the difference between having it for free or the one that you have to pay. So I think it's a really good option, and for many teachers that they live in South America that they cannot afford to pay anything, this is a really good option. Thank you very much for listening.
Muchas gracias, Margarita. Thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, remember, as usual, later on we can talk more, we can ask questions, and you can present other possibilities. I'm sure there are many. Okay, who would like to go next? And I don't see Ernesto here, so he might not present, so it might be just the three of you presenting. I think Ernesto just went to the other channel maybe by mistake, and there was Marisa here, and
I think he was presenting in Spanish. Or
so Penelope Giota, who would like to present first? Penelope, you? Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You have the board and the microphone.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I will be presenting you tricks for using Canva to create educational resources. Canva is a platform that you can create almost everything. Presentation, worksheets for pictures or videos for social media to share. It's a really powerful design platform, and it is free for teachers. There is a paid version and a free version, but if you are a teacher and you can apply for this, Canva for Education it is called, and present some document that proves that you are a teacher, and they give you the paid version for free. Now, I'm sorry. The most important in Canva is that it is more than text that you can, for example, you do on a PowerPoint or a Microsoft Word form. And here you can use ready templates for your lessons. For example, for maths specifically, for history, for science, or for whatever grade you would like, there are ready templates. You can customize them. Change the text, the pictures, the graphics, everything. And there is also the fonts. You can use a more suitable font. And it is difficult, for example, in a PowerPoint or a Microsoft Word to change or set up a new font. You have to find the font and set up and in the program. But here there is a really great list, big list, to use different fonts to make the text more okay, I can't find the words again. More appealing for the students and more suitable for your exercise. You can also add graphics to enhance your messages. There is almost, you can write search on every language or most languages. So it is easy, you don't have to know English too much. I can write in Greek, whatever I want, and they can find me the graphics that I want to find. There's also interactive elements you can add, like checkboxes, links, buttons. You can make your presentation or infographic or a picture or even a website, and make it interactive for the students to go to a link, for example. Interactive, you can make quizzes. There are also really high quality images you can use. You can zoom, cut, crop them, and remove the background and do so much more that you don't have those options on other programs. Or you have to do it with different programs, and every time to put all this together in order to do a good worksheet. And of course, if you make it digital, you can add video and motion and make it more appealing. But in the end, you have to keep it simple, because sometimes less is more. Teachers should keep their design simple and easy to read. Stick to a clear and concise message. And here are some examples of the templates you can find. For example, in mathematics, you can search for fractions, like GPT, fraction on that class grade, and you can show your templates about that, or letter tracing for little grades, first grade, for example, or science. And as I said before, Canvas supports teachers in creating their own activities and guides them using the platform with short educative videos. So there is a link, and here there are so many videos that tell you exactly how to do everything step by step, and it is really easy. And inspired by our previous talk, I found on Canva some GPT apps. Here is text to image and Magic Write. They will present here. Text to image. There is also on OpenAI platform, company anyway. It is called DAL-E, but it is paid now. Here it is free. You can, it's the same app actually. You can describe on letters what you want to present in an image, even if it is realistic or not. A panda surfing a wave, it's not possible, but yet it will present it to you. For us, I tested it, and I searched for a magic garden with flowers and bees, and it showed me these 4 results like I can use, or I can click on the purple button and show me more and more and more until I find what I'm searching for. And Magic Write, it's quite new. Possibly this month. And it is like ChatGPT incorporated in Canva. It is, even though this board is in Greek, it only works with English language. So I asked for a presentation about tricks teachers can use in Canva for creating worksheets, and it gave me this. It's not like GPT, it gives you less information, because I test the same question on ChatGPT, and it does. I was expecting perhaps to give me slides, more fancy with graphics, since it is Canva. I was expecting to have a bit more, but still it's GPT incorporated in Canva, so you don't have to leave this environment. You can do everything inside here, inside Canva. Okay, thank you for watching.
Evharisto Penelope, thank you very much. Okay, obviously you use Canva to use for your presentation.
Yes.
Well done. Okay, so now Jutta, if you want to present, you have the board and the microphone.
Hello. I would like to present you. Where is it? The use of comic in education. An example here, as we can see, it's these pictures with the topic Stop Bullying. These pictures describe the ways of how students can deal with bullying at school. Students can combine these pictures with the text, which is within these speech balloons. This exercise can help them understand the issue through the visual icons, describe and pick their interest to find the problem solving. The benefits. Comics have a lot of benefits. The first one is children can be taught a lot of useful concepts. Teachers can use a comic as a creative project in order students improve skills such as a writer, artist, and express themselves emotionally. As a writer, a student can think the plot, the characters, the conflict, and the resolution. Because the story comes from them, they want to be correct, put their best efforts into it, and be proud of the final product. Also, children can learn in a pleasurable way, and it's a perfect activity for the end of the school day or week. Also, it could be a very useful, comics could be very useful and valuable material into teaching and learning. Through comics, students can enjoy reading, understand the meaning of the story easier, and boost their memory through visual images. Moreover, in education, it could be a powerful tool. Comics could be a powerful tool for engaging distance learners, sharing knowledge, ideas, and information. Through comics, distance learners can show their own experiences, cultural norms, and perspectives. Comics as an exercise in classroom. Teacher could give them write their life story. Students can relate their stories to real life situations. For example, they can write a comic about their life story. They can share with others important parts of their life, such as where they come from, their family members, their friends, and reflect on their life experiences and interests. Another exercise could be with express my emotions. Within a comic, students can express their feelings and thoughts. In particular, they can communicate their emotions through comic strips, such as anxiety, anger, and self-esteem. They can express what is in their heart and write what to do to cope with. By drawing faces, it could help them identify the different emotions as well. An exercise they can do is to think a person who wants to share the comic with, draw him as a cartoon, and describe his feelings about him. Also, comics could help them learn a new language. Comics could help students to study a new foreign language by writing a text in the language they are studying. They can practice their new vocabulary as a second language by writing dialogues for their comic story. They can use the new vocabulary words that they have been taught and also the language structure. To conclude, we can read comics in our free time to relax and have fun. The same usefulness comics have in education for students. Also, students express their feelings to each other to get to know each other better and learn a new language. Moreover, it arouses their interest and memorize what they study. Thank you.
Ευχαριστώ, Giota. Thank you very much.
Παρακαλώ.
Well done. Okay, so now I've been in touch with Ernesto. He looks like he didn't get the memo, and he might be joining us later. But we're going to go the round with the questions, and then if he joins eventually, he will be able to present. I think he just got confusion with the dates. And it happens, you know, some people have so many things on the plates that eventually they don't know which day is and they don't know which day is tomorrow. So I have a few questions here for the three of you, but I also want you to ask each other questions. So you go ahead first, ladies first, and then I'll ask my questions later. Okay, so whoever wants, you just put your hand up, your virtual hand or your real one, and then go ahead and ask. Margarita, you also like to ask questions. Typical teacher. Right? Go ahead, Margarita.
Yeah, Penelope, I didn't know it was Canva for teachers.
Oh, yes, there is.
I was like, wow. The whole presentation, it was amazing. I knew about the how to write and get a picture. Yes, this part I knew, but about the chat GPT, it was new for me. So, wow.
It is new for the platform too. There are many apps that can help, except for writing or putting a new picture, graphic, moving pictures that are linked for children. There are so many colors. It can customize and on its own find the right colors for your worksheet if you wanted to. There are so many things that I can't put on
and
one.
How do you get to Canva for teachers?
You can Google Canva for Teachers application, and it will certainly give you the right page.
Okay, okay. But is within Canva, or is just like a second Canva for teachers?
No. It is
within
the paid version of Canva, free. You just have to do an application to get it free.
Okay.
You present a document from your school that you are working as a teacher right now. On a public or a private school, they don't care. And
you are just a private teacher?
I don't know if you are a freelancer, if you work on alone, but you have to work on a school.
Okay.
Perhaps you can try it. And
I will try.
Yes, there are people who check it, so they will say yes or no. They will. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Παρακαλώ.
Evgaristo, again, thank you. Now, obviously, we have more time later to present. I have a few questions, but I want you guys to ask. And my questions also involve you presenting some of that. Regarding the Canva, I also got to know about these Canva with artificial intelligence very, very recently. All of this is moving like fast. But remember, in the coming 5 years, it's going to change a lot more. In 5 years, there's not going to be like a conversation like this one will just not make sense. I'm like, what? Like 5 years ago, you didn't know that we could use artificial intelligence. It's like thinking about 20 years ago, people not using the mobile phones. Like, no, that just doesn't exist. But I can promise you that 20 years ago, in many, many countries, people didn't have mobile phones. And most people didn't have mobile phones in most countries anyway. And it just happens very, very fast. And now the important as well to know about why are these applications given free for us teachers? Number one, obviously, some of them is because they know that our roles as teachers are so important and we change the world and we want to enable that to happen. But mainly is because at the end of the day, if we use something, many youngsters, many students, many people are going to know about it. And what they're going to do, they're going to use it. And then it's a way for them to advertise it. So it's great for us to use that power that we have and to do get things free. And regarding the, I'm going to give you the, again, regarding the fact that sometimes they need a school for freelancers, sometimes you need a union. I'm not sure that it's going to happen, nobody knows, but your role as participants in EduPlat, although we're not a school, could enable you to get credit for more. It's not happening in the present, all this is new, but also because EduPlat is not as well known. But remember, everyone that is here, you're part of EduPlat, and you can get certificates, you can get accreditation, but you can also get special access as a member of a bigger organization that is contributing to that. And I'm sure that they will want that because at the end of the day, if you use Canva and you publish your resources here at EduPlat, the more people are going to get to know it. Yeah? Penelope, you have your hand up?
Yes, Canva is not philanthropist. They do it with financial interest, of course, because from what I understand, they started a new project for creator educators that you can create the templates that I showed you before and sell them to other teachers. So the next phase is to sell those templates and to have financial opportunities for teachers and for Canva, of course.
My question actually it was about that, and since you mentioned it, Penelope, I'll ask you now. One of the questions I have written here, and obviously here in EduPlat, our mission is to help teachers that are trying to find resources, but also teachers that are sharing the resources, and in general the collaboration. For that to work, ideally, say for example, if you, Penelope, you produce a resource that you want to share, but in a closed way, that is not for edit, that is fine. We will accept it for sure, and we want other teachers to use it. And you might say, this is my presentation, you can use it, but you cannot change anything. But say, for example, that you, for some of your resources, Penelope, you wanted to give them open to other teachers to edit them. Is that possible now with the normal version for Canva? At the moment?
Yes, you can download your creation as a document or a PNG, as PowerPoint file, as whatever you have created. And as for collaboration, I would like to add at this point that yes, I do have a blog that I upload my files and my worksheets, but and they are closed for, they're not templates, they're ready to use. And in Greece, there is this time a movement of a collaboration of teachers and of educational sites that we create together, free different resources about a specific subject. For example, the World Day of Children book. And there are so many resources all together for just this theme. Exactly. There is this spirit of collaboration here, and we try to add more teachers to this. But we don't use individuals. We use people, teachers with experience on resources, on creating resources.
I'm very, very glad that you said that, Penelope, because we found it very difficult to find teachers in Greece that were sharing resources. We found you, but we didn't find many. And one of the reasons why we didn't have a Greek channel probably was because of that. It's also true that the partners that of these European projects in Greece, they were a little bit, let's put it this way, too keen on just not doing much and just passing on to more projects. And this happens with European projects, happens with everything. You know, they're not doing much, but it's also true that it was difficult. Rachel, that is collaborating a lot with Greece, she's doing like very, very well, but she found it difficult in Greece. And maybe it's because there are other different platforms. If by any chance you feel like you would like to collaborate more, you can be ambassadors of EduPlat in Greece. And if you find other platforms, we like the union. There is, you know, we'd like to collaborate with any platform, ideally platforms that are NGOs as well. That means non-governmental and non-for-profit. That's the ideal. But we are open to collaborate with any other platform, even if it's either private or even if it's governmental. You know, it's not ideal, but it can happen. Okay. Just one second. I have here someone that needs my help now. So if you can ask each other some of the questions, I'll just close and then I'll continue. Okay.
Yes, Margarita.
Jota. Yeah, comics, I love them, and they are terrific for learning languages and for so many for writing, but do you think that it can be also used for mathematics or science, for example?
I think that the topic is the same if it's science or mathematics. The student or the teacher could προσαρμόζει, could fit it as he wants. It needs imagination and creativity. It's not a certificate, a particular topic. We can put anything we want. I think so.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the power of imagination. And we teachers have this power. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ευχαριστώ.
Παρακαλώ.
Thank you both. Okay, yeah, sorry I missed that. Basically, they were having problems in the Portuguese channel, so they're going to join us. They had a misconnection, and then the people that were there eventually they saw there's nobody here, so they just left. So they're going to join us, which is good. At the end of the day, this is the international channel, and they're more than welcome to join us. So they're going to be coming. Now, I was just saying about this idea, the idea of sharing. So, for example, Penelope, you said about the fact that you don't have a blog. Is that what you said? Yeah? You don't have a blog yet. And the advantage of you being part of EduPlat is that you don't need one. Because if we want to have a blog, you can use EduPlat as if it was your blog. You can have anyone going to your profile will have a list of all the resources that you have uploaded. Obviously, the advantage is that they cannot just see yours, but they can see Gyota's, they can see Margarita's, they can see everyone, the whole community. And that is, from our point of view, the power. So one of the power is the idea of like more people joining, not just one blog. That it can be very, very good, but one person's blog cannot be as good as the collaboration of many. But especially regarding the giving value. So this is why we encourage you all, not just to publish your resources, but visit other resources, whether you use them or not, to give some, gratification in the sense of, oh, I think this is good, I'm going to use it, or I have used this resource with these students, and I did this instead of that, and this is the real collaboration. That is difficult to happen with, obviously, with a blog-based individual, but even it's difficult to happen, especially with platforms that are for profit, because at the end of the day, what they want, they have to structure everything thinking of the profit. In our case, we're not, we're not independent from money. We need to be sustainable. And tomorrow, if you're interested, we're going to talk about ways that we can make this continue with, without having financial problems, because at the end of the day, it all adds up. But our idea is that we're going to be able to have a platform sharing and encouraging people to share resources for free, and ideally resources that can also be edited. And this is why we're asking you, Penelope, about this idea of Canva. If you, for example, you put your Canva templates, so they're not just resources, they are templates for others, then fine. You say, hey, this is an open template. I use it for this geography lesson, for example. But anyone else editing it and using it for other subjects is more than welcome. Ideally, what they should do, they should put in there history, something like, this I got the idea from Penelope, and then I link back to your resource so that people can see what's happening. And certainly, if I were doing that, I would say, thank you, Penelope, for sharing this resource. I'm going to use it. And here is the link to my resource. So it goes both ways. And then obviously you could say, oh, well, it was good to share it in an open way, because maybe you didn't have time to create the same activity for geography, and I did it for you. So that's the main advantage. Okay. Yes, go ahead, Penelope.
The only problem for this is that in this moment, Canva won't allow me, even as a teacher, to create a template that I can share. I can make a worksheet I can download it on a doc or a PDF or something, but I cannot make it a Canva template to share. I would have done it if I could. They don't allow it. It's a beta version, this creator educators thing, and they don't allow everyone to create templates to share. I can create templates, but I can't share them.
Yeah, thanks. It's true, and this is one of the things that we may be able to help. We still don't know. I saw Ruben nodding, because eventually this Ruben is not just a teacher; he's also a programmer, and he's helped a lot with the project. And now, at the moment, for example, we're using Canva within EduPlat, the communication team. Like many of the things that we publish in the social media, we use Canva. And I found it personally like not easy to share, because there's a team in Greece, the team in Portugal, the team in Italy, the team in Spain, and it was difficult sometimes. We had to create groups. My guess is that Canva, because they at the end of the day they're there for profit, they're still thinking and structuring on how they can do that in a way that they get what they want the most, which is the maximum profit. So obviously it will be us, in EduPlat, to think ways around so that we can help teachers that really want to share in a way, and even tricks. Like, this is why I ask you this question. If you find a trick, then just share it and say, hey, by the way, I found this trick with Canva. This is what you can do now to share a presentation. Instead of sharing it as a template, it might be possible to be shared as something else. Obviously, this is going to be changed, and they will find that, and then maybe we'll say, okay, now you can share a template, but only if you charge for it, and we get a commission. Our mission for sure is to help whatever happens to share it in the sharing. So if at the moment the only thing that you can share is that, that's fine. My guess is that if you put it in a group and you give specific people permission to edit certain things that you put for that group, that would be possible. And that also will be okay. In EduPlat, for example, you can upload the link to your Canva project or to the PDF if you download it in a PDF version, and say, if anyone is interested, please contact me, which they can do now through EduPlat directly. So you don't need to share your any of the contact details. And then eventually you can say, I will give you access to this. And then you might give a bunch of people that they contact you, and then you feel that you gain a good feeling, maybe a special access with maybe the same link, but special access because you have included them in your group of Canva, or in your group. Eventually will happen the same in other platforms, such, for example, like these gamification platforms, Genially, and many others. But all of them, my guess is that they are thinking about how to do things in a way that they make them profitable. Yeah? Okay. More questions, anyone? Okay, so while you are thinking about questions, Giota, yeah, that was a question for you. I really like the idea of the comics. Yeah. Now, obviously, for me, what I'm thinking is fine. It's good for them to be creative. It's good for them to to express certain things in a certainly different way. But how can you make them focus on something specific? How can you use the comics, like, say, for example, to do a specific learning mission, learning objective?
I think that younger students love reading comics, and it could engage them to participate in exercise, not be boring to make an exercise that teacher asked to, and students can find it as a game and use their imagination to create a comic by their own. I
Okay.
don't know if I answered your question.
More or less, more or less. Evaristo, thank you.
No
I
problem.
see that Ruben also has his hands up. So Ruben, go ahead.
Okay, this comes a little bit late, but it's about Canva. In fact, we are getting some input on the Canva API, so we can integrate it in the future in the platform. But it's going to be in probably some months because there is a lot of work and we have to do it for free because Canva always wants to be paid. But there is some ways that they allow us to integrate Canva in external platforms. So I'm just doing that. The only thing is probably we are not going to be able to share things, but to create it inside the program. So I don't know how to do it, but still we are working on it. Canva is a really important place because we know it's really, really used. Happens the same with Genially, which is a platform that is really used, and we are trying to integrate all of them so you can work inside the platform.
Thank you, Ruben. I see that you have your hand up, Penelope. Up, so yeah, okay now. 1 second, sorry. Yeah, just in case, yeah. So basically, Ruben is saying this API thing. The idea of that the many platforms, and this is not just Canva, Facebook, all of them, they give like us webmasters like a little open gate that sometimes we can go through and get feed in and out. It's good for them because at the end of the day, it's a collaboration between platforms. As I said before, we are very, very open to collaborate with any platform. And even though there are some platforms like Canva that they're for profit, we want to collaborate with them. It's very useful for many teachers. We want to help teachers that are creating resources. At the end of the day, it helps education. Fine, for sure. Obviously, if there was a version of Canva that was completely free for a non-profit, we will give preference to the the NGO rather than a company. But if it doesn't exist, it doesn't matter. And it's good that there are companies that are developing resources for us teachers. I mean, Canva is not just for us teachers, but certainly there are thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of teachers nowadays using Canva, and it's a great tool. It is a great tool. Yeah. Okay, Penelope, go ahead.
From what I understand, you want to integrate Canva on EduPlat. Okay. You can do the other way, I think, around. For example, Canva for Education gives you the permission to create a classroom like Google Classroom and collaboration groups of teachers. So perhaps inside those groups right now, which is easily to join with a link, you can share the templates in small groups. You can make a group for Greek templates, a group for Spanish templates, and teachers from each country to share their templates, which is easier to not have to translate, to customize.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I didn't know that Canva was, they had this classroom thing, so I was very surprised today and really happy. I'm going to try to check what we can do around. But anyway, our major idea is that the teachers can publish things in our platform and not having to use any other platform to having to see our things. So the main idea is to do it the other way around. So use EduPlat as a centralized place where all kinds of applications, all kinds of resources in PDF, in website, in YouTube, in Canva, in Genially, everything is something that you can find here instead of moving people around places. So our main idea is you create with whatever you want and you publish it here. That's really what it will be great. So of course, there are things that we cannot do. For example, a lot of people is publishing Kahoots right now. I love Kahoot. I think it's a really fun way to check and make people interact in classroom. But if you don't put the play on the Kahoot, where you are just giving us it at a time, sometimes it's difficult to share that only, and I cannot show it properly in the platform because the Kahoot is not on, not working. It's not with the timer and counting. I think that makes life a little bit difficult, but also more interesting. So we keep working on all these kind of things to integrate it in the platform in a way or in another. Right now, if you cannot see it in the platform, you have a button to follow and see it outside the platform. And we will try to use this button as less as possible, but still it's a solution when we cannot integrate. Okay.
Okay, ευχαριστώ Penelope, gracias Ruben. It's a very good idea. I mean, at the end of the day, they have the groups. If they now they have the classrooms, we could even create a big EduPlat classroom there. And then any teacher feeling like they want to join this classroom, if it's the best way nowadays to share Canva templates that they can actually insert, giving permission to copy, because the idea is not just that you give permission to edit, these days they give permission then to copy and create another one and change from there. Obviously, I presume that any teacher putting a template in a group, they will also have already another copy in their account, private, so that nobody can change it, just in case there was a mistake or something. Makes sense. So that's a good idea. I was just thinking, Penelope, as well as giving you the possibility of being ambassador of EduPlat in Greece, you can also be ambassador of EduPlat in Canva, because if you have many ideas, why not? There are possibilities. And the one way to connect with Ruben, Ruben is the master programmer in EduPlat. For sure, he's got an account there. So you can connect with Ruben there and then give him ideas directly specific to that. There is a way to give feedback generally, but if you feel that you have more specific feedback, that's a possibility, and then you can work together. This is all about collaborating, and if you feel that you can get more things done with Canva, that's great. Okay, I have a long question, but Margarita has a
it's not a question, it's only a comment. Marisa is waiting to entrance in Zoom.
Okay, so Marisa is waiting to come back here because she was in the she was here and then she left for the Spanish channel because I don't know what was the problem.
Okay.
She can just do what I don't understand. She was here, so I don't understand what the problem could be. But from what I understand, she's already in the other channel.
Okay,
so
okay, pass.
Maybe you got a message later. Okay, anyway, so I was just thinking, ways to collaborate, there are many, but remember at the end, our time is limited, our resources are limited. Ruben is very, very keen to collaborate, but we need to talk tomorrow about ways to have this, financially sustainable. We want EduPlat at the moment is an NGO that has many umbrellas in different organizations. Here in Spain, for example, the organization is an NGO called Bienestar, and we are a no-profit organization, but also we need to be sustained because otherwise everything sinks. So we need to find ways of being able to finance, especially when it involves so much work, and the amount of hours that Ruben is spent on these projects is like uncountable. And obviously, we would like to have him, to be able to give him a proper job one day and eventually continue. But we need to see ways to do that. But the collaboration of many is very, very important. At the end of the day, we need to create something, and we don't need to use the tools. We need to know exactly who can help the teachers best. And there's nobody like teachers to be able to give feedback about what helps best. Now, more questions. We have plenty of time still. I have one that is quite long. So if anyone has a long, short question, I want to give you priority. Nobody? Okay. So now this is the long question for you, and it's just long. It's for you, Penelope, because you mentioned something that we've been discussing in other roundtables. The first one we talked about the use of artificial intelligence. The second one we did as well. There's going to be another one I know that in the Spanish channel they're talking also about artificial intelligence. You mentioned something specifically with the use of artificial intelligence and Canva. Maybe if you want to take a bit more time now, if you want to share your screen and show us how you feel teachers can benefit from this new functionality of Canva, because this is something relatively new. Huh? Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Thanks.
Okay, I will start with this text to image. Canva, on the right side of your screen, you have a black strip with all the tools you can use. For example, the templates, the elements, pictures, graphic, images, videos, etc. You can upload your own images or videos, and the text types, headlines, a simple text. You can draw. For example, I have an iPad and I have a iPencil. I can draw with this my own design on Canva on the iPad, and it saves it as an image. And there is also a button here on this strip I was talking about with apps, applications that are external from other companies, perhaps, that integrate on Canva. And you can enable them. One of these is text to image, which is exactly the same as OpenAI application called DALL-E. This application DALL-E was free for experimental period of from September to April, if I'm not mistaken. And it was, there were no credits. You can create as many images you wanted, but now it is paid. There is not even one free trial, nothing. So I was very glad to see that this application is integrated on Canva and it is free. Now, how we can use this? There are so many situations, especially in science, in geography, or history. I'm looking for a specific map and I'm Google searching and I can't find it. So why just order the map just exactly as I wanted it? For example, the march of Alexander the Great during 30 BC, and make me exactly all his march, and create the map, or create a picture of a specific experiment on science. So many, like almost everything you would like to show your kids. And you don't have to Google search. That's why Carlos, I think, said on the previous roundtable that Google is really afraid of OpenAI. Magic Write is exactly like ChatGPT. If it is a trial, that's the purple button says in Greek, it's trial mode, and it's not like ChatGPT. It has limited abilities right now. However, it says that students can't access it because, as I said, you can have a classroom, you can be the teachers, and students can also sign up on that class on Canva. Students can't have access, so they don't have the solutions on anything they ask. It is for teachers as they use it only for teachers to have ideas to present, like bullets, like you can see here. It's more like bullets, 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't, it doesn't, write too much text about it. And it doesn't have this responsive thing like ChatGPT that you can say continue or write more. You can have to ask once and this is it. You can't say anything else. This is the document it created. I can't add more, to ask for the app to add me more text. It is limited for now, but it is a tool. For example, I could use this. I found it on the end of my presentation. when I was preparing my presentation. I could use it to make 6 slides and prepare my presentation.
Thank you again, Penelope, Faristo. It's interesting, yeah, the possibilities. Then again, sometimes I feel like when we invest time, at the end of the day, we are investing time every time we find a new application. It's always interesting to see, you know, the how long is it going to be free? How long is it going to be, you know, and sometimes we don't know. Yeah, nobody knows because they are also testing. They see, oh, it's best for them to have like millions of people that are not paying anything, but they get lots of traffic instead of 1,000 that are paying. So they're going to have to balance as well. For sure, with EduPlat, we are about getting more people and not paying anything than a few people that have exclusivity. But you know, sometimes both can be together. If some people pay for specific things, they can support everything else in the platform. It's also possible as long as it's open and crystal clear what is free and what is not, and for how long. And that's the main thing. But yeah, for sure. Now, many platforms are in competition, and we're talking about platforms that are doing different things. If, for example, we already mentioned that, Carlos mentioned the fact that is now Google Translator that is working extremely well. Now is getting behind what you can do translating with artificial intelligence, and this is all advancing so rapidly. Literally 4 years ago, and this is not much long ago, when you had automatic translations, they were very, very poor. And we're talking just about 4 years ago, and you probably remember all that. I remember when planning for this project, we had a plan so that all the teams will have a strong input in the translating, because at the end of the day, we want to have it in Greek, in Spanish, in Italian, and in Portuguese. And thanks to the development of the artificial translation, we had a bit less work, because the translations that we managed to get from Google were very, very good, and it just needed a few corrections every so often. But you know, they were well beyond what you could get just 4 years ago. So probably it's going to happen the same with all of these search engine types, and especially getting outcome out of a search that is not just web pages, but it's more specific, a presentation, images, everything. Yeah, good. Now we have more time for more questions. Anyone? If you, Daniela or Alessandra, you would like to ask something, go ahead.
It seems to me that you have been talking about something that happened during the morning, and unfortunately we were not here with you. But I think that what you've mentioned about artificial intelligence is really important. And I didn't know, thank you, Penelope, for sharing with us this this application that is in Canva, isn't it? Where you can have just the topics. I think that that application is very useful for students, because it can provide them with topics that they can use to start their work. And when we talked about ChatGPT, the app, like you've said, is something that we just have to ask for more, and students don't have any inputs there. They only take information. They don't give information. They don't get engaged. They don't create. And it seems to me that the app that you've shared is something that is going maybe educational, may help them overcome some difficulties that they may have to start writing something, but then with those guidelines they will be able to do their work properly. So thank you very much for that perspective. I didn't know it before, and it seems very useful. Thank you.
Obrigado, Alessandra. Thank you. Yep, I mean, the world is developing. I just feel like, you know, if we have gone back like before the industrial time, like we thought, oh, now we have machines that are going to be doing the work that humans used to do, and then we'll have nothing to do. Well, as you know, that's far from the truth. We humans have a lot more to do than we had like 100 years ago. My grandpa used to tell me, you guys work more than I used to work ever. And we have machines, and the machines have been like working for us for a long time. If now we have artificial intelligence, does that mean that we would not have to think? Well, maybe no. Maybe we can turn around and make sure that we use artificial intelligence in a way that we have to think more and develop. Obviously, for us teachers, we need to go at the front of this because we are the ones that are leading students. If we have artificial intelligence in our classrooms in a way that the students are just trying to get away from being creative, from thinking, from getting outcome, that could be really, really bad for them and obviously for us as teachers. But we need to know, we need to use these resources. It needs to be open. But we're discussing during lunch that there was like, you know, students thinking like they are the only ones that they know that this chat GPT exists, and they were just copying and pasting in a way that was so obvious that, you know, they thought that we were like useless. No, if we show them, hey, you know, we know that exists, and look, this is what I've done. I presented this exam, this questionnaire for you to do, but I've done it thanks to the use of artificial intelligence with a few touches. And that's, again, something that we need to tell them. It's fine to use that, but you need to do a few touches. I remember in my days, I had many teachers in my schools photocopying books, like, but photocopying are not even quoting where the book was from, using exercises. And they go like, well, how can a teacher tell me not to copy from others if they are doing the same? No, it is possible to do the same, but there is a way to do that, giving references, etc. So we need to show the students that it's possible to be used, but it's possible to be used in a way that we continue with creativity, we continue building, we're adding to the world thanks to that. Okay, I can see that he's getting excited. Everyone, Margarita, and then Penelope, go ahead, get your microphone.
Yeah, this intelligence, artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence, sorry. We teachers are talking a lot about how to use these tools in our classrooms. So we are being really creative, and yeah, they can. The intelligence can write a text for us, but we need to check and we need to ask the proper parameters to get what we want. So it's making a lot of work for us, but we are putting a lot of effort in understanding how the artificial intelligence and in being able to be more effective using it. So it's giving us a lot of help, but also it's making us thinking quickly and being really creative in every time that we want to create a new activity with these tools. So it's a lot of work also.
Okay, thank you, Margarita. Gracias. Penelope?
Yes, I was experimenting with ChatGPT before, and perhaps first we could ask ChatGPT how to limit access of students and how to use it properly. Okay. And second, I noticed, for example, it doesn't give you law advice if you want to ask something about laws. It says ask a lawyer, attorney, or something. Why would it be like this for teachers and not allow students to ask ChatGPT and ask teacher to say, oh, for this, ask your teacher. Don't try to find the solution here. We could or ask for a permission of a limitation, actually, how to limit the access of students on this tool. Not that it is easy, because they can find always a way to go there, but for a start.
Thank you, Evgaristo, again, Penelope. I just wonder, like, you know, I used to work in a school, an international school in Switzerland. This is probably, I think it was the second or the third most expensive school in the world. Some of the school children were quite rich, and others, they had so much wealth that they had unlimited funding. Literally, these kids could easily get 1,000 euros in a week just to do whatever they felt like it. And you can imagine that a kid with 1,000 euros, they don't need ChatGPT to get some work done. They can pay anyone. And for 1,000 euros, they could have me doing like the work for them, because you know, it's a lot of money. And they had it just as pocket money for the week. So we did have students that we know that they have had some of the work done by others. Now, the way we try to, and obviously it's like, you know, thinking about finding like whether it was plagiarism or not. With artificial intelligence, at least it looks like it's possible. There are some apps that they can find out that this is being machine produced. But here we couldn't. We had just, you know, something that was produced by another human with like an extra income, very well paid by these students that have so much money. So, but then at the end of the day, isn't that what they're going to find out in real life? I think these students, they're going to have lots of money before they I mean, they already have lots of money. So they're going to have some possibilities to, with that money, to be able to invest it wherever they want efficiently. And I'm saying this because this is the same things that's going to happen with the students and the use of free, or at the moment free, artificial intelligence. When I was little, we learned to do the square roots like by hand with a piece of paper and a pen. As a math teacher, I find that is ridiculous. Like we can do that with a mobile phone. We can certainly have a calculator to do that. So if nowadays calculating, for example, square root or even trigonometry, we have tables. I mean, I don't know how many of you put your hands up if you've done tables in trigonometry. Like the young faces, probably you haven't. Ruben is like distracted, but I'm sure Ruben has used tables in trigonometry. But what's the point now? Who is going to use tables in trigonometry? We have advanced. We have calculators that can do the sinus of 30 degrees very quickly. Look, he's putting the tables there, Ruben. Yeah, but now we don't. But we have to adapt it. So should we block? Like there were some teachers I remember they said, no, you still need to learn how to use the tables to get the values for your trigonometry functions, and that was useless. So maybe now we have to go a step ahead and think about the same. If our students have access to artificial intelligence now, can you imagine in 10 years when they're going to be out in the streets looking for jobs, they are going to have that. So maybe instead of like blocking that, what we should do is having how can they add value to the work that they already getting from the artificial intelligence? Because maybe for them, that is going to be more useful than actually creating the work from scratch. Because creating the work from scratch, maybe in 10 years' time, is not going to be useful. Just like now, it's not useful to get trigonometry using tables. Nobody does that. Not even the most archaic teacher does that, because we have proven that it's useless. So think about, maybe we should think about that. Maybe we should think, hey, yeah, let's use them, but what value are they adding? If they're adding value, then that's good. It's good for their studies, it's good for their thinking, but it's also going to be good in the future. And their future is going to be very different to ours, to the present. Yeah, Ruben, go ahead.
Yeah, just to sum up to what you were saying, I'm absolutely, I concur with you in that we have a different tool now. And it's similar, I remember when Wikipedia appeared, So everyone was like, this is absolutely inexact. It's made by people. Usually they don't have the facts correct. But still, I, as a student and as a big person talking against Wikipedia, I use it every day. So when I realized I had to go with them. And that is a useful tool. And of course, you have to learn how to contrast. What happens with me with ChatGPT, I'm studying things as well. I'm using it to study. So sometimes I just ask the machine to give me one solution and then explain the solution to me. And then I understand what is the reason behind that. So it's a good tool. And I think in the future, this tool is not going to disappear. It's not going to be, probably it's going to be regulated, but regulations, you know, they are hard, they are difficult, and usually they are going to do things like trying to make sure that you are over 18. But of course, my children are going to play with it, and we are not going to be able to avoid it. So probably the right thing as teachers that we have to do is how to use it. Not just for that, but how to teach students how to use it. What are the questions that they have to do? And to do in ChatGPT or whatever is the new one that is going to be appearing tomorrow. But we have to learn to use it, of course, because we cannot be behind. And we have to learn how to use to teach them how to use it. Because they have a lot of information, valid information, good information to take from there. So of course we are not going to make it disappear. The only thing that we can do is integrate it in our plans and try to take the most of it. And I think it's really useful. Of course, there is a lot of things that it cannot do. You cannot put like a graphic to him and say, explain me the graphic. You have to explain the graphic. So there is a good teaching opportunity, how to realize the correct question. And it's like philosophy. Philosophers have said for a lot of years that the problem is not the answer, it's to make a correct question. So we have an opportunity here to do exactly that. Correct questions in ChatGPT give approximately good answers. Bad questions give a very bad answer. And if we are able to teach people how to do correct questions, we have there a reasoning. They are going to have to reason how to do this question. Okay, that could do a good teaching tool. And I don't know. It's just a thing that probably it's worth in the future.
Thanks again. Thank you, Ruben. Totally agree. Yes, for sure. I mean, for example, when in Carlos' presentation, he was giving ideas on how to ask these questions. And students, they need to learn how to do that. Because if that's going to be their future, well, if that's going to be our future, but obviously for them is more important, then maybe that's what they can give value. Like, you know, yes, it's the same tool for everyone, but, you know, I can have a tennis racket. If I don't know how to use it properly, if I don't know how to move it properly, I don't get the same results that a professional tennis player. So that's it. It's not just like, hey, no, don't use tennis rackets, throw the ball with your hand. That's useless. Anyone with a tennis racket could throw the ball much better, much farther away, much faster than me with my hands. So I need to use the tennis racket. I need to learn how to use it. And that's the value that I'm adding as a tennis player. And that's certainly the value that any of your students can learn. But then again, this is also how is important our collaboration. And it's making it a little bit more difficult as I think Penelope was saying earlier, I can't remember if it was maybe you, Giota, is making it more difficult for us. But that's why we need to collaborate even more. So if any teacher finds ideal activities to do using any of these new tools, and more that are going to come, and this new technology, then there is more reason for us to share it, and more reason for us to say, hey, you know, these are techniques, or even ideas like this isn't new, like it's something that is months older. Who knows what's the best way to ask questions to an artificial intelligence to get good answers? Maybe we don't know. Maybe we should start learning about these things, and we should certainly share what we find out and how our students can benefit from that better. That's in a way their future is certainly our future. Okay, we're about to conclude with this presentation. Now, unless you have any last-minute question, I want to thank you very much for participating. We're gonna continue again in a few minutes, and in a few minutes, and we're gonna take a break, and then everyone will come back to the same place here, to Zoom or the YouTube, exactly in 9 minutes time, okay, at 5 p.m. Okay, so I'll write it down here. Back at 17 hours Central European Time. So once again, thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you in just a few minutes. Take a good break. Bye.